Hello class 7 students. So we will continue with the chapter, the 5th chapter from your history book, that is expansion of the Delhi Sultanate. So we have already started Tughlaq dynasty, right? And now from your book, from your history book, page 47, we will continue here the fourth part, that is token currency. Now, what is this token currency scheme? Muhammad bin Tughlaq, as he is said that he used to do a lot of experiments. Okay. Now, Muhammad bin Tughlaq was in need of money. Why? He wanted to raise huge army and he wanted to establish a world empire. That was his dream. So, he wanted to increase his army to make it well equipped, and now for that he needed money. So children, in the previous video we had learned about what Muhammad bin Tughlaq, Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, and taxation in the Doab, transfer of the capital, and these two was a failure, right? Now let us see what happens in this scheme, token currency. So there was shortage of gold coins. Okay. Gold and silver coins. So what he did? He had given order to issue copper coins. And the value of this copper coin was equal to the silver and gold coins. Okay. The Sultan had asked the people to use copper coins in place of gold and silver coins in every transactions. But Sultan did not take any measures that the coins should not be minted by everyone. It is the work of the government. Imagine if everyone start making coins and currency in their own houses. What will be the condition? People will start using fake coins, right? Which Sultan did not keep any check to this. So what happened? People started minting their own coins at their home. Which was what? It was actually a fake coins. The government had the full authority to make coins, and no other people should make coins at home or a currency, right? So what happened? And this way people started making coins at their home and then paying taxes. So all these things were fake. So this is the reason where we see again a failure in this scheme, that is token currency. And when Sultan realized that fake coins were being used, he asked the people to withdraw these coins. Right? To withdraw the currency. So they were asked to return the token coins, and in place they would use again gold and coin silvers. The withdrawal of this token currency was a failure. This brought loss to the treasury. So let us read this passage from your book. Token currency. The failure of the Sultan's scheme had led to a heavy drain on the royal treasury. Muhammad bin Tughlaq then decided to experiment with token currency in the year 1329 to 30 CE to tide over the financial crisis. So because of the taxation in the Doab and also the transfer of the capital, there was financial crisis, right? So to cover up that financial crisis, he started with token currency. Copper coins having the same value as gold and silver coins were issued, and people were ordered to use these token coins in all their transactions. So they were supposed to use copper coins as ordered for any of their transactions. Now, however, Muhammad bin Tughlaq took no steps to ensure that the minting of coins was the monopoly of the government. So he did not keep a check that no other people should issue the coins, right? Mint the coins, but only it is the work of the government. Every house became a mint and people started making counterfeit coins, right? What do you mean by the term counterfeit? Counterfeit means what? Unauthorized, fake, right? Now, there were no arrangements to check the minting and circulation of fake coins. So here the execution was poor. There was no control. Okay. Foreign merchants refused to accept the token currency. Trade came to a standstill. Fake coins were used to pay taxes to the government as everyone started minting coins in their homes. The economic system began to collapse. So since there was fake coins being circulated for any of the transaction, so what happens to the economy, the growth? The economy system began to collapse. It's why? Because of the circulation of the fake coins. And then foreign merchant, the foreign businessmen, they were not ready to invest. Now, Muhammad bin Tughlaq had to withdraw the token currency. The idea of token currency was a progressive one, but it was far ahead of the times. It failed due to faulty execution. Okay. Now, if that would have been controlled, it would have been a good idea of experiment with token currency. The government resources and the prestige of the Sultan suffered a serious blow. So here what we see, the token currency had an adverse effect on the foreign trade, right? The people here, we see that the trade came to a standstill. Okay, they were not ready to use. Who will use the fake coins, right? Now, let's move to the next one. Expansion schemes. Next is expansion scheme. That means what? Muhammad bin Tughlaq dreamt of establishing a world empire. Right? He wanted to rule over the whole world. That is why he wanted to make his army huge. Now, he decided to conquer Khorasan. And where is this Khorasan? Is in Persia. And the new name of Persia is what? Iran. Okay. So he wanted to conquer Iran and Iraq. Right? A huge army was mobilized, equipped and paid 1 full year's salary in advance. So a huge army was mobilized, equipped and paid 1 full year's salary in advance. So all these arrangements were done to conquer the places. What? He made arrangements of the huge army. Okay. Now let's move next. A year later, the project was abandoned. Why? Now, why was the project abandoned? It was cancelled. It was that project was no more active. Why? Because the Sultan realized that it would not be easy to send such a large army across the snowy Himalayan passes. Why? Let's see the map. Now here you see the map of India and Iraq and Iran. So he wanted to conquer this area. For that, the army had to pass the snowy Himalayas, right? From here. Delhi is somewhere here. So from there they will go to Iran and Iraq. And then what happened then? So here we see that this plan further depleted the royal treasury, exhausted the treasury. Depleted means again exhausted. Okay. He also sent an expedition to conquer the Himachal region. Himachal region is what? It's a snowy region full of snow. and it's going up, moving upwards. So people going upward, it's such an exhausted one. It's such a, again, a tiring troop that they were going to conquer the Himachal region. So all these things were included money. So we see that there's a financial crisis again. The army suffered heavy casualties and only 10 soldiers returned to Delhi. So many soldiers was sent to conquer Himachal region. Okay, but what we see, when they return, they only return with 10 soldiers. Okay, so many died on the way. Now let's move to the next one. Results of the scheme. So whatever scheme that he had started, what was the final result of all the schemes that he experimented? Okay, so here now we come to the results of the schemes. So finally what happened? Taxation in the Doab also was a failure. Transfer of the capital was, again, it was involvement of lot of money. So there was financial crisis. Since there was financial crisis, he tried to experiment with this token currency. That was also a failure. So, and also expansion of scheme that we read just now, that he wanted to expand his empire, but he could not do that. Instead, he lost lot of army people. Okay, and we see that people, only 10 soldiers returned from after conquering that Himachal region, right? So what do you think will be the result of the schemes? It was all failure, right? So now let us read this part from your book. Now, Muhammad bin Tughlaq's experiments and poorly executed schemes had exhausted. It was a failure the treasury and undermined the prestige and position of the Sultan. So whatever he tried to experiment, it was all a failure because of that poorly executed scheme, right? So, and so much of money was used in the transfer of the army, of the people, right? He wanted to expand the army, so much of money he was in need of it. But whatever experiment he tried, it was all a failure. And then what we see, so that shows the prestige, the what people thought about Sultan. Okay, that means whatever he did, it was not done appropriately. Right? Revolts broke out in all parts of the Sultanate. Next, the Rana of Mewar recovered Ranthambore and Chittor and built a powerful kingdom in Rajasthan. Now, with so much of effort, Alauddin Khilji had captured these places. Okay, these places, and now what we see, because of the poorly execution of all the schemes that he wanted to try, it was all a failure. Because of that, his image was what? It was a failure, right? That the Sultan cannot rule his territory. So what we see here now, that Rana of Mewar has regained his places, recovered Ranthambore and Chittor. Now in the south, two new kingdoms were established: the Hindu Vijayanagar kingdom and the Muslim Bahmani kingdom, right? So we see the Hindu Vijayanagar kingdom and the Muslim Bahmani kingdom. The Deccan and South India became independent once again. Okay, Bengal and Sindh also asserted their independence. They also got freedom. Okay, most historians have traced the failure of Muhammad bin Tughlaq's schemes to his character. It is whatever scheme he started, he introduced, that is, some of the historians, they relate it with his character. Okay, what type of person he was. The failure of the schemes is related to the character of the Sultan. He lacked practical sense. Okay, according to the historians, what they are saying, that he lacked practical sense and was whimsical and unpredictable. What do you mean by the term whimsical and so here whimsical means what? Not a that was sudden decision he used to take, not a concrete one, not a solid decision. Whenever he used to take a decision, that was not a concrete, not a solid one. Okay, so whimsical is sudden decision he used to take. And unpredictable. Unpredictable means what? Which cannot be said what will happen. Okay, so whimsy people are like that, which is unpredictable. Suddenly they will decide one thing and they will act something else. Sudden decision. Okay, whimsical is when person who takes a sudden decision, and obviously the result will be unpredictable, right? So here next we see, some historians have concluded that Muhammad bin Tughlaq was not personally responsible for his failure. That's also very true. He is not the only one to be held responsible for all the failures. Let's read. His projects failed because of the conditions and prejudices of those times. Right? That means what? The conditions there. Okay? That also is one of the reason that whatever schemes or whatever he introduced had collapsed, right? People were backward and not receptive to new ideas and radical reform. So here we see that even people were responsible. Okay, why? Now, when the people had shifted, there was a transfer of capital. When they went to Devagiri, Daulatabad, they could not adjust to the conditions there, right? They were homesick. So that means what? They were not ready to accept anything new, any new reforms, any new changes, and that is why we see here people were backward. So this is also one of the reasons. Next, the ulemas did not support his schemes because he did not allow them to influence the affairs of the state. Now, who are these ulemas? Now, the ulemas are the learned people. And then they had a wide knowledge on the Islamic rules, okay, law and ideology. So here we see that the ulemas did not support his scheme. Whose scheme that is? That is Muhammad bin Tughlaq's scheme. Why? The reason is he did not allow. That means what? Muhammad bin Tughlaq did not allow them, ulemas, did not allow ulemas to influence the affairs of the state. Right? When Muhammad died in 1351 CE, after a reign of more than 25 years, the Sultanate was in a state of decay and disintegration. Right? What do you mean by the term decay and disintegration? So here the word decay means what? Breakdown. Okay. In this sentence, the decay means what? Breakdown of the state, Sultanate, because of so many failures taking place. Okay. And disintegration. Disintegration means losing the strength. What? The Sultanate was in a state of losing strength because of the schemes that was not successful. He could not achieve what he wanted to. So because of we see the Sultanate was in a state of decay and disintegration. So here we come to the end of part 4 of chapter 5. So kindly read this as a story. It's a very interesting one to know about how the Delhi Sultanate expanded. And so
this is just like a story. You read and enjoy your chapter. So till we meet again in the next video, kindly take care of your health. So we will meet again in the next video. Bye children.